story time. So I just woke up from a nap. Thank God my friend had called me and woke me up from this nap because I was like running behind. Anyway, the dream that I had, I think it's because I was listening to a podcast and they were sharing like paranormal stories. If you don't believe it, you can go right ahead and skip forward or whatever, but they were like sharing their experiences. And normally I only dream about stuff when I watch it in a show or in a movie, but I guess because this was like so in depth, it triggered something in my brain. So I went to take a nap because I had woken up at like 4:30 in the morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I ended up cleaning my whole house, eating a little bit of breakfast, and then taking a nap. Now, this dream was fucking wild. I'm trying to think as far back as I can. So it was me and my family. It was me, my husband, my younger daughter, and my older son. Shock, right? Okay. Anyway, we had bought this gold mirror. It was as big as I am. So I'm 4'11". So it's just as tall as I was. And it was like a long rectangle, and it was gold. Really pretty. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh shit, this looks like the same one we already have in the house. It'd be really cool to have them side by side in the house. Skips forward, and the family's like, it feels funny in the house. Like, something feels heavy. And we're all like, we feel extremely anxious and nervous and paranoid. And I'm like, okay, let me just kind of cleanse the house a little bit, right? So it skips forward, and we start hearing voices, and things are moving around. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then my brain is like, the mirror. And I'm like, the mirror? And then like a picture of a family comes into my head. And I don't know why, but it was like an Asian family. And it was a husband, a wife, and then their daughter. And I'm like, oh fuck. So I'm like, let me see if I can talk to them or something, just so that they can kind of go away. That doesn't happen. I'm not used to these being this long. So I'm like constantly feeling like I need to stay like this, like in attack mode. I'm not used to this. I can't even like make a fist. This is not a fist, bitch. Like this, no. Anyway, so I try to make contact, and when I do, like, the dream skips. Like, everything goes black, and then it's, like, the next scene, and we're all, like, terrified, and we're pinned. Like, I was pinned in the living room. I think my husband was in our bedroom, and then the kids were in their rooms, and it felt very scary. Like, if you ever been so scared that like you don't know what to do, like that, like it's like a deep feeling. Sorry, had to change scenery. Brother's in the kitchen cooking up stuff, and there's gonna be like a bunch of noise everywhere. Where was I? Right, so we were on the bed. We were all on our beds, and we were feeling like a pressure on our bodies. Like we were stuck on our beds. I was stuck on the couch, and then it was like this black shape. It looked like it was just like a mist, like just a black mist. There was no shape or anything to it. Kind of crawled from my feet, and it was like making its way up. And as it came up, my body was like stiffening up. Like I can feel my muscles tense. So I'm scared as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared as hell. And then I can feel like my family being fucking scared. So as it comes up and it gets to my face, I close my eyes and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, stay strong, stay strong. I'm constantly like repeating, stay strong, stay strong, stay strong. Over and over and over and over and over again. But like I can feel it like push down on me. And then like it was like tiny, like, I don't know, like, I guess take nails and, like, push it into your skin. And I was, like, starting to feel that, like, all over my body. And I was like, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes, see, look it in the face. And so I was like, I was peeking real heart through like one eye. And it was like this pure white face with black teeth and a black mouth. And like all this was like black and kind of spreading out. And like all white eyes. And then the rest of the body was just like black. And it had like really long black hair to like down to her butt. And I was like, ooh. Like in my head, I'm like, no, 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 no. And then I hear like my entire family screaming, and like I can hear her whisper, "You're ours now, so we're going to take over." And I hear my husband screaming, and then I hear my kids screaming, and they're screaming, "Mom, Mom, Mom." And I don't know how long I stood there trying to fight it because it felt like forever. Like in my head, I'm like, it's been like an hour, and I'm just like, I can't move. I feel like I can't breathe. I'm feeling like I'm getting stabbed, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, no. And for some reason, my brain is just like, the power of three, the power of three, the power of three, the power of three. And so I'm constantly repeating it in my head. And I force myself to like open my eyes and look it in the face, and it like jerks back. And I'm just like, I'm thinking, because I'm like, don't say it out loud yet. For some reason, my mind is just like, keep it in your head. And I'm just like, by the power of three, by the power of three, by the power of three. And I'm repeating it. And it starts to like come off. And so once it's like halfway off my body, I scream to my kids, by the power of three. And like, they know what that means. So they all, like the whole family is just like, by the power of three, by the power of three, by the power of three. And they're like repeating it. And so she comes off of me. And I have like these two, they're like little tablets. They're like metal circles, right? And one of them I actually have, and it has like the triquetra. I believe that's how you say it. It has this, right, as the circle, and then it has this 3 times around it, and then it had like leaves around it. And then I had another one that was like a circle, and then it had a triangle, and then it had this inside the triangle. And so I got up, I grabbed both of them from the table, and I go and I run to my kids, and I'm like, I smack one in my son's hand, and I'm like, say, by the power of three, and hold it straight up. I gave him the triangle, and then I'm running to my daughter's room, and I give her the triquetra, and I'm like, I said that wrong. Don't judge me, I'm dyslexic, okay? So I give that to her, and she holds it, and they're both just like this, going towards like the black thing, because when they're not like attached to us, they don't have a shape. So it was just like black mist. And they're just like, by the power of three. And they're, and so we're walking towards my husband. And he like wasn't getting as possessed as we were. Like he was like almost there, kind of. Like I don't know what was going on, but he was like already kind of out of it. And as we're all walking, he walks behind me, and my kids are in front of me. And so both of my kids are like this with the amulet thing in their hand, walking towards the spirits, like towards the mirror. And so we bring it towards the mirror, and I got my hands on each of my kids' shoulders, and then my husband is behind me. And we're all, by the power of three, by the power of three. And they go back into the mirror, and like, how can I explain it? It was like a faded picture. Like once they were all in the mirror, you can see them as a family. And I'm like, what happened to this family? Like, what happened? Did they get possessed? Did they get murdered? Like, I was so curious. And I'm like, they weren't like this, because they looked like a beautiful family, right? So it was like the husband, the wife, and then the daughter in the front, and they're smiling, but it fades away. And then I take the mirror and I throw it on the floor, and we're bashing it, and we're like, by the power of three, and still just repeating it over and over, and we're breaking the mirror and breaking it and breaking. All 4 of us are just cracking it. And then at the last crack, I can see like the woman's face, and she kind of changes, and I smash it, and I'm like, so mote it be, bah! And I break her face, and the whole thing, like you hear a giant screech kind of just let out, it skips. And we're just like kind of holding each other. And they're like, oh my God, what the fuck was that? And then like, I don't know how long it was. It skips forward again. And it's like morning time. And I think I'm making them breakfast. And we live in this weird new age futuristic house where the house is like made out of like this, I don't know, it was like titanium or I don't know, like what's like, I know we don't actually have it, but it was like vibranium or something. Like the metal was like really strong and the windows are really strong. It was like a doomsday house, but that's how like all the houses were built at that time. Like I don't know, it was weird. So, and the houses were like really tall. So I guess there was like upstairs to like the kids' room, and I was like in the kitchen, and like some of the living room was part of the kitchen, and our walls were like really really high up, like some kind of I don't know, like museum or something. And we start hearing like banging, like things are hitting the window, and my kids come running and they're like, Mom, something's going on. And I'm like, what the fuck now? What is happening now? So they're like, I don't know. So they show me, and like some of the windows got like cracks in them, like something's been hitting it. And then all of a sudden we hear like bigger bangs, and we look and there's like an indent of like an angel's face and hands and wings, like trying to break through the metal of our house. And then tons of them start poof, 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 poof. And I'm walking back, and all of us are just like, what the fuck is happening? And I don't think my husband was there. No, I think it was just me and my kids. And we're like stepping back, and we're just watching as like these angels are trying to like break into our homes. And so my daughter grabs her little amulet, and she's like panicking because this again is happening. And she's like, by the power of three. I was like, no, baby, these are angels, but like their faces didn't look like angels. And I'm like, I kept calling them angels, but in my head I'm like, these aren't angels, these are something else. And I'm like, I tell her to put the amulet down, and I'm like, we have the same power as they do. Our power is not strong enough to defeat them. So then I turn around and I run to our bedroom, and I grab him. I go, because he is sitting on the bed with another one that was all red, and then another one that was black and pink, and then the other one was something else, but I couldn't really see it. But they were like all sitting next to each other, and I'm running, and I was like, we gotta get the demons. We gotta fight. We can't fight them. And so all of us start running to my bedroom, and right as I go to like reach on my bed, I scream, Goliath! And I grab him, and my phone wakes me up. My friend calls me to ask me some spray paint question, and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like this, and this was just like a nap. Like I was literally just taking a nap. This dream, I woke up like excited and scared at the same time. Yeah, that was some, you interpret that yourself.